Let's go back to that child-directed speech. That's the clinical term for what we more commonly know as baby talk. It's when you speak to your baby with a higher pitch in your voice and simpler words and simple sentences. The merits of baby talk are actually debated, but what is not debated is the fact that talking to a child in this way does capture their attention. And so anytime your child has your attention when speaking, language on some level is being acquired. Problem is sometimes the empiricists might say that baby talk maybe hinders growth by being oversimplified. Here are some ways to move beyond baby talk, and these naturally come as a child develops. Recasting and expanding. When you rephrase what the child says as a question, or you fully grammatically correct the sentence. So if a child said cookie now or car move road, the adult might say something like, would you like a cookie now? Or the car drives down the road. Those are both examples of recasting and expanding. Now, in recent events, the question has arose about language before birth. In 2013, research led by Christine Moon at Pacific Lutheran University concluded that babies in their last 10 weeks of pregnancy have the capacity to learn and remember the elementary sound of their language and their mother. She said babies are not phonetically naive at birth. This goes against a long-held belief that babies are born as blank slates. Now, knowing what we know about the fact that babies in the womb can listen to music and rhythm and remember it after birth, Dr. Marianella Casala at Cornell University, she runs an infant studies laboratory, or baby lab as she calls it. She also researched this notion of language sounds before birth, and her research confirms what Christine Moon found about babies acquiring the ability to recognize and remember sounds from their last 10 weeks as a fetus. Another current event in language development might be this, that economic status plays a crucial role in child language development. A study done in the 1990s by child psychologists Betty Hart and Todd Risley found that by the age of 3, a poor child is likely to hear 30 million fewer words at home than a child from a professional family. And that disparity really matters. By high school, that difference is not just a small gap, but a chasm in language development. They said that children are not born smart. They're made smart by parents talking to them. And so in homes in which families aren't talking or talking intelligently or aren't around to talk, there's a huge deficit in language being acquired. Young, poor boys have statistically the most trouble in school, and Hart and Risley linked this language deficit to those struggles. And furthermore, they said that language deficit is passed down throughout the years because language development for a child levels off and slows and stops at the parent's own language level. And so if a parent has a low language level and has a child, their language development is lower as well. And you can see this is a snowballing effect through the years if the language level never increases. Tina Rosenberg was recently writing about this in the New York Times in an article, The Power of Talking to Your Baby. And this is one of her conclusions. She was arguing for a policy change in response to what President Obama laid out in his State of the Union about compulsory education for toddlers to get them ready for school and not wait to school to start. She said, we can remediate 5 or 6-year-olds, or we can get it right from birth. And believe me, the remediation doesn't work so well. That's just a thought to consider. For further reading, I would check out this link below. It's actually a really comprehensive PDF file on language development with activities and games for young children. So if you are a parent yourself of a young child, or you work closely with young children, this is incredibly useful information. There was so much that I could have included in this PowerPoint presentation, but it's a great link to have around. These are the works I've used to develop this presentation. I'll keep them on the screen for a brief moment for you. And finally, a review. Again, there are 4 components of language development: phonology, semantics, grammar, and pragmatics. And this is just a cartoon to give you an idea, again, of the development. That last stage in the cartoon is one we like to delay as long as possible. Questions again from the beginning. What are the 4 components of language? How does each develop over the first 5 years? And how does language input affect a child's development? Here's a discussion question for you to respond to. If research clearly shows the lifelong importance of early language development, why hasn't there been a priority in federal policy and funding? If this is a cost up front that could save remediation costs in the future. Just a question to consider. I appreciate your time and have a good day. Thank you.